There's never been a better time to have SiriusXM. With over 140 channels in your vehicle, your all-access trial includes more than ever before to enjoy online, on your phone, or at home. Create your own ad-free personalized stations powered by Pandora. Hear ad-free extra channels and enjoy favorite shows with SiriusXM Video on Demand. What you love is on now.
Motorcycle audio is arguably one of the fastest growing and hottest segments in all of 12 volt. And if you're a dealer tuning in tonight, you found the right place if you want more information on the segment, because tonight we've invited 5 of the most prominent brands in the category to tell us all about the latest and greatest that they have to offer. This is CMA Live, presented by SiriusXM. The motorcycle audio episode starts now. And what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another CMA Live. This time, it's all about motorcycle audio. This show, of course, presented with our partner, SiriusXM, and I'm your host, Ben Wu. So I promise tonight we have 5 awesome brands that are all about motorcycle audio, and each one of them are going to come up here and tell us what is the latest thing going on with their products, and also give some advice, some pro advice as to how you, the dealers, can either take advantage of this category that you may not be implemented in quite yet, or keep you up to date with what's going on. So first and foremost, let's get our first guest into the studio. His name is Andy Smith, representing the brand called Sound Digital, and he is their power sports trainer. Hey, what's going on, Andy?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing super good. Thanks for taking the time to share with us, to be here with us tonight. I mean, really happy to have you on, because I mean, you are a motorcycle custom builder. Why don't you first start telling us where you're broadcasting from this evening?
So I'm actually broadcasting from Pleasant Hill, Iowa. I'm in a shop that I own and help run, but then obviously I work for HKI, Sound Digital. So
awesome. Sound Digital, distributed in Canada by BB Distributions, your Canadian partner, and HKI in the US. Out of the gate, there was some recent news. You know, HKI and Sound Digital are known in the motorcycle world for their compact power plant amplifiers. Recently, I heard that Evo line might have had an upgrade. Can you share some of the details about that?
Oh, we absolutely did. So the most recent update that we've done is we actually brought out the Evo X2 line. We've had very good luck with the Evo X line. We did some updates. I mean, obviously, got to have something to show you, right?
Oh, yeah, so there it is.
What we did with these is we actually updated the board. It's a 2-piece heat sink. The things that you're actually going to see as a difference, the most noticeable, wrong end, you're going to see the Tiffany style RCA connectors. That's the first thing anybody's actually going to notice when looking at it. Other than that, everything's internal, but I promise you we've made some major updates. A lot of the updates actually came based on what we found with our Evo PS line, which the Evo PS line is what we created. It's basically specific for the motorcycle market. So the things we did with the Evo PS line, with the way we did our conformal coated boards, our tracing on the boards, the Tiffany style RCAs, to get our IP64 rating on it, we found that we were having way better luck and getting things to produce better power in the small package to create what we wanted. So we kind of moved that into the Evo X2 line, but for sure, the Evo PS is what helped us get to that point. We do everything we can to update as we go as well. So just wanted to make sure we had something to show you here.
Absolutely. So why don't you talk to us, Andy, about some of the key features or benefits that make Sound Digital kind of signature within the segment? It's really unique and it's got quite the following.
You know, one of the biggest things that we have found is the power per size. I mean, we make some of the smallest, most powerful amps in the world. it's a perfect fit in the motorcycle side. We can take like an 800.4 Evo PS like I've got in my hand. As a motorcycle guy, I can put 2 of these in a fairing of a current bike without any modifications. You don't have to mess with anything. Don't get me wrong, there's plenty of things out there to help facilitate fitting amplifiers of any brand. However, it's hard to beat the size and power that we can produce with this.
Absolutely.
That's our go-to.
Not only your go-to, we hear about it all the time. We see it in the builds. So, when it comes to dealer looking at the line, it's a pretty specific line. It's amplifiers, right? We're not talking a full gambit of all different, types of product. We're talking about a very specific thing that you guys tout, that you guys are very specialized in. Of that lineup, what would you recommend, or what are some of the top sellers that you've heard from dealers that they do exceptionally well with?
That's a slippery slope too. We are amplifier only with Sound Digital. However, we do have specifics. I mean, we have car side, we have what we consider bike side, which is also our power sports side. My world, the biggest selling amplifier that I deal with and that I see for our company even is going to be the 800.4. It's a compact amp. It's a 4-channel. It does everything we need. The next one up is going to be a 1200 4-channel. I didn't bring one to try and show you, but the 800.4, the 1200.4 are our biggest sellers. The reason is they're efficient. They actually produce the power that we say they're going to produce, if not more, and they fit. You don't have to modify a ton of stuff. We have had people say that you got to modify to get these to fit in the bike. You really don't. And when we dive in here again in a couple of weeks or next week, whenever it is, I'll actually be able to show you some of that stuff too.
So. Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned we are definitely doing a deeper dive, a full day connected, just talking about Sound Digital. Make sure you tune into that, folks. Check our schedule. I want to pick your brain here. Sound Digital, you're talking about it just fits, right? Let's go with that theme. So can you share with me an example so that installers maybe can kind of relate of when a Sound Digital product really made a difference or really delivered on a full system?
Well, let's say it this way. When I tell you that it fits, the best example I can give you, let's take my 800.4 that I had in my hand a little bit ago, okay? This amplifier, let's say you've got a 2014 Street Glide. I'm just going to use that as an example for the Harley, right? Where our holes are to actually mount the amplifier on the feet, they are actually set up in the exact same spots on a Street Glide. You take out 2 of the top mounts on the radial bolts, they drop right through that amplifier. You don't have to mess with anything. It bolts right in place. It's perfect. Power, 99% of the speakers on the market are going to be that people are going to use for motorcycle audio are going to be between 100 and 200 RMS. This 800.4 produces 132 watts per channel at 4 ohm. You need to push it a little harder, run it at 2 ohm. We get 200 per channel. It's perfect. It's just a all-around good fit. You don't have to mess with anything.
That is a strong selling point and a hard argument to debate on, especially when it fits and it delivers on the power. So you build bikes. If you guys tune in when Andy and we're going to go deep. He's got a garage full of bikes. It's crazy. But having said that, if I was a dealer and I was new to this market, because let's be honest, I see it everywhere. We feature it a lot. Customers are, you're probably starting to trickle in at this point. It's just so popular. What recommendations do you have for them to get started on the right foot? And because you've been down that path yourself as a store owner.
Absolutely. So for me, my viewpoint is I ask a lot of questions. No matter what, I want to know exactly what they're looking for. I want to know what they have for expectations. Okay. So if you tell me that you just want louder than factory, anybody can do it. It's not that hard. Factory audio in these bikes is horrible.
Is it really that bad? Like it's subpar.
You hit 60 miles an hour and you're not going to hear it. That's my personal opinion.
Okay.
Now, we can do a quick audio upgrade. Doesn't cost a whole lot of money, but there's good margins in it as well. And I can make it, you're going to hear it at 100, 110 mile an hour. Now, Kilometers, obviously, what's that put us? 100 mile an hour to kilometers. I don't know the conversion, but you're going to get up there pretty good. And it's not that hard to do. But ask questions. It's easy to overlook what people are trying to tell you. It's easy to try and push a product on somebody that they're not actually looking for. If you ask the questions, you can easily over-deliver on what you're selling them. Don't sell them something they don't want. That's your biggest thing as a retailer. You got to listen to them, and you can make it easy on yourself to get the sale. If you've got product or demos sitting in your shop, if you're working on a bike for somebody, bring in the new customer. Let them listen to it. It will sell itself if you got it set up right. It's not a hard sell on the motorcycle side. Guys with custom bikes, 9 times out of 10 don't have a budget. If they've got a budget, you can still blow it out of the water and they will still go with it. You just got to be able to show them. All it takes is one customer with a custom bike in your shop lets you do the work that you tell them you're going to do, over deliver on it. They will sell you every single day. Without doubt, they will keep pushing.
Awesome. And you're a perfect testament to that. If you guys are interested, tune in when we go on live. We're going to get a glimpse of a very successful bike shop and see how that operates. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time tonight and sharing with us a little bit of wisdom and some insight on that cool the new 2.0 amplifier that you just showed, and really sharing with us how well this product fits in everywhere you need it to. Like
I said, for me, the 804, almost impossible to not sell in my world. It fits. It's a bolt-in. How can you go wrong? Plenty of power. It does everything we need it to do.
There you go. Guys, if you're tuning in and you're in Canada, you definitely want to reach out to our friends over at BB Distribution. They are the authorized distributor for Sound Digital in Canada. And if you're in the US, make sure you get a hold of the team at HKI. I'm sure they'll point you in the right direction. Annie, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Hey, thank you. The other one to let you know, if there's tech support for Sound Digital products, you're probably going to get me.
No, this is the guy. Now you know what he looks like. Thanks so much, sir. Take care. All right. See you soon, Annie. Well, there you have it. That was all about Sound Digital. Very specialized, high output, small package product that really fits a lot of situations, especially if you're serious about motorcycle audio. We're going to contrast that with our next brand, because this is a big brand. This big brand has done a lot over the decades, innovated many different things, have built a lot of purpose-built product, and no slouch in the Harley Davidson motorcycle audio category. I'd like to invite to our studio Mr. Eric Russell, representing Rockford Fosgate, and he is their senior digital strategist, coming to join us once again. Eric, what's going on, man?
Ben, great to see you all the way here from Tempe, Arizona. I'm bringing you warmth, so we're going to warm up this.
Yes, I feel it coming through the screen. Eric, tonight we're talking about something that's pretty fun. I know that you're pretty passionate about this particular category. There's a rich history behind this category and Rockford. We're going to talk about all that. But first, let's get out of the way some of the cool new stuff that was recently announced. Not too long ago, Rockford introduced a dual saddlebag subwoofer kit, and it kind of made a lot of noise. I want to hear, how is the feedback been since its launch?
So speaking of a lot of noise, so I have it here right in front of us. This is a dual 10-inch subwoofer saddlebag kit. It features 2 removable saddlebag subwoofers. So if you need to take a tour, you can remove one or remove both. It's your choice. This is a completely new way of adding subwoofers to a touring bike. We've looked at a lot of the ones that were out on the market, and we realized we need to go back to the drawing board and start from scratch. So we did a lot of research and development on different methods, and this is the final product. We're really happy with it. Again, it has a 10-inch subwoofer. There's an 800-watt IPX6 rated amplifier. This amplifier sits here on the back of the saddlebag. It's a derivative of our current TM400X4AD. So this 800-watt rated amplifier, dynamic power output, we give it to you in the burst sheet with every amplifier, is producing over 1,000 watts. So really, really happy. And in fact, Jerry Pitts, one of our sales regionals, was at our Go Fast Distributor show in Massachusetts. And he had a full motorcycle, front fairing, rear saddlebags, plus 2 subwoofers. So he would start the listener off with the entire system. and then he would take away one subwoofer and then take away both subwoofers. And the riders were like, oh, come on, I need more. He would turn one subwoofer back on, and they're like, okay, we're getting there. Turn both of them back on, so you had a full system, and it was all right.
Yeah, it was all right. It's one of those things, you're taking away candy from a baby, and they're like, no, I want it back. There's so many cool, innovative little details about that kit. We're going to get a chance to go through all that in detail during our connected session, but absolutely innovative. And the fact that you can pound 2 10s off a Harley is kind of gross and awesome at the same time. So I want to commend you on that. I mentioned a little bit about the story and the pedigree that Rockford has in this category. I want to ask you, do you believe Rockford to be the original innovator in this segment? That's a loaded question. I want to see how you answer it.
Well, I really appreciate the question. And actually, I really like original innovator. Motorcycle audio is not new. Obviously, we're new to the category, but motorcycle audio has been around for several years. But it was the same type of product. You're putting underpowered speakers, tiny amplifiers, if any, usually passive off the radio, and it just wasn't giving you the sound that you needed. Of course, we need to provide a high performance audio system so that you can actually hear it when you're on the highway, when you're riding with your friends. You want to be able to hear your music the way it was intended to be. So yeah, Rockford Fosgate, we believe we're one of the key original innovators with progressing motorcycle audio into future generations. So again, with the subwoofer kit, this is a brand new way of doing subwoofers on a touring bike. Nobody has done it like this before. As a matter of fact, we just were awarded our design patent on this kit, and we're working on the utility patent that's pending right now. So when it comes down to things like that, innovation, product development, it's all about the fit and finish. These are all key to fit Harley Davidson touring motorcycles. You can tell by the fit, the finish, the way it sits in the motorcycle, the way it's just seamless. You can tell that it was purpose built for Harley Davidson. And of course, we know with our Saddlebag subwoofers, our Saddlebag 6x9s, imitation is the greatest form of flattery. And we know that a lot of brands have a lot of great components, but our solution brings everything together in a unique plug and play system. So everything works, from the source unit to the speakers, to the amplifier, down to the subwoofers. It all is a plug and play system. And I've actually got a harness here from this subwoofer system that I'll show you. This is right out of the box. You'll get this connector. This is the bulkhead connector for the subwoofers. So you've got a quick disconnect down here at the bottom. And then this is the amplifier connector. Literally plug it in, bolt it in, and you're ready to go. This is the input side of the amplifier. And then you've got your waterproof Deutsch connector. That way you can easily move the subwoofers in and out of the bags with a quick disconnect terminal. So again, the wiring is just ready to go out of the box. There's no splicing, no cutting per se into the electrical system. In fact, we had an open house that we're going to talk about more on our connected episode. And I was showing customers how we could integrate a high performance Rockford Fosgate audio system into a factory Harley Davidson electrical system in less than 10 seconds.
10 seconds. Well, obviously, this is very installer friendly and user friendly for that matter. And you just touched on a couple of things. I know that right in front of you, you've got the dual subwoofer kit, but you touched on a few things behind you on the board. On this topic, let's segue into what are some of the top sellers that these dealers need to know about from the Rockford line in motorcycle.
Sure, fair enough. So our top sellers obviously are stage 3 kits. We have stage 1, 2, and 3, and then a subwoofer add-on kit. Stage 1 is typically a radio, deck power, speakers. Stage 2 would be adding an amplifier, and then stage 3 would be adding 6x9 Saddlebag speakers. Now it's a retrofit kit. Obviously, you've probably seen them. You use your existing Saddlebag lids, and we provide you with the cutout template to integrate those in. Also, which really selling well is the a la carte pieces. So adding 6.5 lowers for expansion on, say, a Road King is doing very well. CVO and Ultras also benefit from this because it allows us to add, again, lowers, tour pack, or 5x7s to some of those older CVOs. So that's usually the mix that a lot of dealers are going with. Stage 3 kits and a little bit of a la carte so that they can handle any customer that comes in to their store.
All right. So now that we've established what the best sellers are, now I'm going to ask you to dig deep because I want the secret goodies. I want to know, what are the gems that maybe need a little bit more spotlighting that dealers need to know about within this vast lineup of product?
Okay, sure. No, yeah. So some of the gems that I see that I wish we could get a little bit more traction on is Road King. It's a very popular very popular motorcycle platform, and our system allows you to easily add a Saddlebag 6x9 kit to that Road King. And of course, it does utilize the M5 amplifier, 800-watt system, and it has an expansion port so you can add lowers in the future. And then another one is right here, our PMX source unit for 98 to 13 touring models. Now we know a lot of riders, they have the old radio and it breaks, and then they get it reserviced and they put it back in, and then it breaks 2 or 3 years later, get it reserviced, put it back in. Why deal with that hassle? This is a high performance multimedia source unit. It features Bluetooth, Sirius XM, Pandora, and check it out. Of course, it is designed to fit the factory Harley Davidson connectors. So you don't have to do anything. You literally plug it in. It has the factory mounting points up here on the top, and you've got a multimedia device ready to go in your new motorcycle.
I knew you'd have some good advice when it came to the hidden gems. I think you've answered some of what I want to get here and what I'm about to ask you, but I want to give you the opportunity to expand on that, Eric. And that is, why do you feel Rockford Fosgate to be just arguably the perfect brand for new dealers to get into this motorcycle audio business?
Sure, new dealers, I mean, the learning curve is really easy. Like I just showed you, the plug and play configuration that we've developed just makes it easy for the installers so that they can focus on the customer and getting them exactly what they need in a very, very timely manner. So everything is designed to plug and play, seamless fit and finish. Again, purpose built. These are all very, very specifically built for Harley Davidson. None of this is repurposed car audio gear. That's what made Rockford Fosgate famous, but Rockford Fosgate also has a great depth of engineering and new product development staff that allows us to really think about what the installer has to go through when tackling a project like motorcycle audio. And the plug and play configuration really is the easy way to get started and continue to grow with motorcycle audio.
Great answer. Thank you so much, Eric. Hey, you see the graphics down there. If you're in Canada and you're looking at this and you're like, yeah, I got to get me some Rockford Fosgate, make sure you get a hold of the good folks at Automobility, automob.ca. And if you're in the US, give Eric a call personally. He takes all the calls for all the entire company at Rockford. Right, Eric?
And on YouTube. Actually, Steve and the guys in tech support handle that, but I definitely keep an ear on what's going on, and I handle all the YouTube comments, which we are getting a lot of. So awesome. Yes, fire away. We'd love to help you out.
Thank you so much for taking the time, and thank you for setting up that entire demo for us this evening.
It's great to be with you again. Thanks, Ben.
Take care. Okay, so that was Rockford Fosgate. Obviously a big player in the game. Really cool that they do the research, the R&D, and they come up with these like full out kits that you could step up the customer into stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, which makes a really interesting proposition from, kind of future-proofing that sale with that customer. And beyond that, literally, they make, components in every category within the segment, and you've seen how pretty much plug and play everything is. So lots of things to think about there. Our next brand that we're going to showcase tonight is, I doubt anybody watching this has not used at some point a product of this company's. Parent company is, of course, Metra, and the brand tonight is Tram, which is their motorcycle division. I had a chance to sit down with Gatlin Sandhu, who's their Canada sales rep. He was busy on the travel, but I did get a few minutes earlier this week to get him to answer a few questions about what's new, what's going on with Tram this season. Hey, Gatlin, I can't thank you enough for taking the time. I know you're busy, but we got you at the right place. You're at your sharp, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Listen, this is the motorcycle episode. We're talking about motorcycle audio, and of course, we're talking about Tram. I know that's something that you're very passionate about. I know under the Metra umbrella, there's so many brands that you take care of. I know there's a special place in your heart for Tram. So I'm going to start out of the gate. What is hot and new coming out of the Tram camp right now this season?
Well, Ben, there's a lot of different products that the Tram umbrella kind of carries and kind of, allows you to, install. However, one of the newest things that we have is a lot of our newest kits that are available. Our BC HDR-K1 is a double DIN ISO kit for the Harley Davidson Street Glide 2014 and up. We've also got the BC HDR-K4 is a single DIN kit, which will allow you to, of course, install a single DIN radio into an Electra Glide 2014 and up. But there are a plethora of products available from the Saddletramp brand that will allow you to do a multitude of different things. But those are a couple of the newest pieces that are available for the Saddletramp brand. And of course, with our other parts, such as our DSP, which we'll touch base on in a couple of minutes. But that is our largest category currently, with all the newest Harley Davidson products coming out. Replacing that factory radio is actually becoming a little bit more tedious and difficult on the newer models, say 19 and up, 2021s, 2022 models. A lot of them have the larger, 7.5 inch to 8 inch screen that's in the dash. And again, why would you want to replace all of that when you're just looking for better sound quality? So if you're able to keep all of those factory pieces, you can use our BC-DSPL-HD2 or HD1, and those will allow you to install a aftermarket amplifier and speaker accessories, potentially even using our Saddletramp bags to install your favorite brand of speaker.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you touched on some of them, but I know there's a lot more. And if you just back out of the woods for a second, what are some of the key features and benefits that Saddletramp offers as a brand at large when it comes to motorcycle audio?
When the retailer is looking at the Saddletramp brand, I always try to encourage them to look at it as your one-stop shop for literally everything that you could possibly need to install an aftermarket audio system into your Harley Davidson. And anything from plug-and-play T-harnessing, saddlebag covers, speaker pod replacements, handlebar lighting, underglow lighting, RGB lighting, the T harnessing and the Y harnessing that the team has come up with at Metra has allowed for the basically seamless installation of any aftermarket accessory when it comes to audio. And it'll allow you to basically just make it really easy. You buy all the plethora of parts that are available for your model of Harley Davidson. Again, you can visit the website to find all that out. Just click in your year, make, and model into the Metra Online Vehicle Fit Finder, and you'll find a lot of the different T harnesses, a lot of the different Y harnesses, a lot of the vehicle-specific saddlebag covers and things of that nature. We are a peripheral company, as I always have said many a time throughout the other episodes that we've had. We don't make speakers and amplifiers and head units and things of that nature, but we have all of the parts and peripheral parts that you would need to install your favorite brand of accessory, whether it's Sony, Pioneer, Kenwood, JVC, etc., etc. I've actually heard some really good things about the DB Drive speakers in our speaker pods. They fit perfectly and they sound incredible. So outside of the brand name of car audio that you're planning on installing in your motorcycle, we make it seamless. So that's probably the best answer I can give you.
No, absolutely. And you kind of answered the other question I was going to ask you, which was, how does Saddletramp address the needs of the modern motorcycle audio enthusiast? But I think you said it right there. Between all the harnesses and the adapter plates, I think it's self-evident that if you're going to take, motorcycle audio seriously in your shop and you want to serve this customer, you're going to kind of need, a lot, not just a few, but a lot of these different items. So I want to circle back to something you mentioned because I think it's pretty hot to trot. You just said that Saddletramp has come up with a DSP.
Well, the DSP has been in the lineup for quite some time now, a couple of years, but we are continually always perfecting our DSP by listening to our consumers, our end users, our retailers, and getting their input on what things we should implement on our DSP. And as we move forward with our DSP lineup, we are implementing more integration, more, features, more benefits. We do all of the hard work for you when it comes, especially to the new Harley Davidsons. Some of the new Harley Davidson, of course, require that flat line signal to be outputted from the factory head unit. If you do motorcycle audio, any motorcycle audio guy will tell you that the output on a factory Harley Davidson radio is atrocious at best. So what we do is we actually do all the hard work for you. The auto programming for the DSP is plug and play. It gives you a flat line output signal that you can adjust on our DSP app on your phone. and analog output into a 5-channel amplifier and or 2 separate amplifiers if you're planning on doing bass and mids and treble. And again, seamless installation. You keep all those factory benefits and features. If you've got handlebar heated grips, or if you've got lighting that is controlled by things in the handlebars, it's all retained in the radio. Seamless. So the DSP is one of those pieces that will allow you to basically seamlessly install aftermarket amplifiers and speakers in your motorcycle.
Yeah, and I think we're lucky enough. During our motorcycle audio sessions, we're going to have an episode whereby we get Jason Anderson, who's kind of like the tech guy, right, at your camp. He's going to come on and really show us every little detail about not only what the features are, but even how to install it. So we're looking forward to that as well. Last question, and this is kind of a big one. I want you to take off your Metra shirt first. Don't literally take it off.
Give me, it's a busy shop here. It's extremely loud. I'm just trying to. Give me 1 second here so I can hear what's going on over here. And
there you go.
Turn that down for 1 second.
Thank you. Want to get in your head, want to get some advice out to these dealers tuning in. That motorcycle audio is not new, but it's kind of on fire right now. There's so many new products coming out. The Saddle Tram line is a perfect example of that. Before getting into this segment seriously, I would like to hear what advice would you have to offer these 12-volt audio guys who want to get into it, who are looking at getting into it? What do they need to be aware of to be successful?
Well, the first thing I would do is tell them to contact me, because we have a plethora of different displays that are available for the Saddle Tramp brand that they can include inside their retail shop. I know that these days having retail floor space is a little bit difficult, but if you can give me a call, work with one of our internal distributors that we offer in Canada to get you one of our Saddle Tramp displays in your showroom. Again, it's always about planting that seed. And, if the customer knows that you're able to do it and feels confident that you're able to do it, especially with visualizing the audio system or hearing the audio system in your showroom on a Saddle Tramp branded display, it gives them the opportunity to at least obtain that type of business. Most car audio shops are car audio, and I think that they tend to kind of neglect the motorcycle audio, but those guys, they got lots of money. They want to make it sound good. They want to make it look good. And the Saddle Tramp brand is the best way to do it.
And how different is it though, Galen? Like, break it down for somebody who maybe hasn't touched this stuff yet. What should they be aware of?
Well, what they should be aware of is that, Metra makes it as easy as possible. It is a non-daunting thing to kind of take over. If you're used to doing car audio, working on Audis and Volkswagens and taking things apart of that nature, Harley Davidsons are fairly straightforward. They're all put together with Allen bolts and your standard, hand tools. So it's not a big undertaking. It's actually a smaller chassis. And with all of our plug-and-play Y harnesses and T adapters and amplifier integration kits, it makes it perfectly seamless. There's perfect amount of length for your power and grounds, perfect amount of length for your RCA cables, perfect length for your speaker adapters and plugs and RCA, so your Saddle Tramp bags to go into your Saddle Tramp bags. And it's really, you pick your brand of audio that you want inside your motorcycle, and you use the Saddle Tramp bag the Saddle Tramp brand to carry you forward. It's the best way to explain it.
Simple as that.
Simple as that.
I'm not going to hold you any longer, Galen. Obviously, you're busy at the shop. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. Your information was invaluable.
I apologize for the noise here, but again, it's a full functioning shop. And,
absolutely. But we got the goods out of you. We got what we needed. So I'm going to let you get back to work. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us about Saddle Tramp motorcycle audio. Take care, Galen.
No problem. Thanks, Ben. I appreciate your time. Have a great day.
So we've spent the evening kind of giving you a merry-go-round experience, and we really wanted to put together a show that gave dealers a real taste for what is out there in the motorcycle audio segment. And right now we're going to go to the top. When I say the top, I mean higher end brand, premier type of stuff. And you're thinking to yourself, is the Harley Davidson client a customer that would be interested in these type of brands? Well, I think my next guest is going to be able to shed some light on that matter. Love to bring to the studio none other than Justin Bond, who is the product and training manager at Focal Canada and BB Distribution. What's going on?
Hey, Ben,
Justin?
what's going on, man?
Oh, I'm trying to give people the tour of motorcycle audio, and we're kind of giving everybody a little taste of what, the different aspects. But now we're going to get into the mindset of higher end audio offering for this Harley Davidson customer. So what's the story here? Because I'm trying to digest this. Focal, high end, France, Europe. Harley Davidson isn't really a big thing in Europe, is it? So I'm trying to connect the dots. What's the story behind this?
Yeah, so like in reality, the Harley Davidson business in Europe is like sub 2% of Harley's global sales. Predominantly, 85 to 90% is done in the United States. And for us, being the brand that we are, we haven't always had a full offering of power sports or marine product. But our Focal dealers who have been loyal to the brand for so long have found kind of ways to utilize our current product offering into these other applications. That being like mainly our K2 power line, or our infamous yellow cone. Just because of the cone material that we use, it is a DuPont Kevlar, and it does give you that kind of, water resistance, that heat resistance, resistant to dust, and it is a sealed front face. But those kind of were used in Harleys for a really long time in the US and Canada. And then so it was with a big push or big initiative with Focal USA that Focal in general, as a global company, decided to invest the time in R&D and to make I don't like to use that word plug and play, right? Because to me, it really does devalue a bit about the installer, right? So, a harness, a vehicle integration harness or a vehicle specific harness is a great tool for a qualified installer, not a replacement for one. Mm-hmm. So, we have gone above and beyond to make certain things, like Focal grills that, directly replace whatever you're using, much like the other brands, and then done our speakers to make them as install friendly as possible. But the big thing for us was we're so rooted in our fundamentals that it didn't just make sense to make a speaker just to make a speaker if it didn't follow, our core values, our criteria, and utilize our DNA, right? Mm-hmm. I often talk about Focal as like a technology company. And when you look at our K2 driver that is specifically designed for the Harley, this driver itself has 3 or 4 different patents on it. When you look at the tweeter, the inverted surround, etc. We'll dive kind of deeper into the specs on our one-on-one connected with Focal, Harley, but we didn't just take, a famous speaker that we had that delivered and give it a grill, a passive crossover, and jam it into a bike, right? So
on that point, Focal's a unique company in itself. It's a unique brand. It's a unique I'll even say experience in itself.
Yes.
How is this unique for the Harley Davidson customer in this segment?
Yeah, so we have always kind of been established as a sound quality style brand, right? Mm-hmm. That's kind of when you look at our home to our high end car audio. That's what everyone knows. For us, the challenge was, like you've heard some of these other guys talk about, was to be able to deliver that volume that's required on those Harley Davidsons, but still to keep the DNA, the lifeblood, and that integral part of the audio quality that's needed, right? So that was one of the biggest challenges, and kind of where we wanted to offer that, you can get that stylistic, traditional Focal sound that you need even on the open air roadway at 100 miles an hour.
Makes a lot of sense. Help me break down, because it's not the deepest offering, but there is a significant differences between the offering. If you could just
can count my products on one hand.
Break it down for us. Go ahead.
Right. So we're very simple. We have 4 pairs of speakers, but essentially 2 different levels of speakers. Okay. We have our Harley Davidson Access speaker, which is based off our Access car audio platform. The Access has been around for over 15 years now. We use a dual fiberglass structured cone. I don't want to get too deep into this. And this is available in a 2013 and down, so 98 to 2013, and 2014 and up. And then it's the same thing. One step up for that, that's kind of like our entry welcome to Focal. And then we get to our kind of infamous yellow K2 power. So it's available in the same kind of stylings, 98 to 13 and 2014 and up. And the one thing that's nice is, believe it or not, in either kit, the 2014 or the 2013 and down, it's the exact same speakers. So the only thing that's actually changing is which grill package comes with the kit, right? And then that's what we do for speakers. And then from there, we have one little bitty kind of power unit, which is our FDP Sport. So this is a 4-channel, 1,000-watt RMS Class D conformally coded amplifier. It can be used in like a 2-channel, a 3-channel, or 4-channel application, which is really nice, kind of making that all-in-one solution for a bike. It does come with, OFC power and ground that are the right line to run to the bike.
And
it does
comes
come
with a mounting bracket as well, doesn't it?
So not the mounting bracket yet, but it does have a special design on the amp itself
that's right.
to be mounted on top when you're doing the street glides. It does have this kind of concave down from there and mount on top of the radio. Mm-hmm. And then input, output, Harley Molex connectors too, right? So we do our best to facilitate, but we're not the same typical style offering. But usually in our space, the extra work required for our speakers is always sold anyway. So, the quickest in and out job is not really what's required when you're dealing with our products most of the time anyway. So
absolutely. And that says a lot to the following that Focal has. I mean, there's no secret. All the top shops do love Focal. We hear it a lot. And, what I want to get across tonight, Justin, is Focal's a high-end car audio brand. It's a high-end audio brand. Never mind car audio, right? High-end audio brand. No different when it comes to Harley Davidson. How do these high-end shops that specialize in these custom jobs tap into this motorcycle? Because what we've learned tonight is, and we heard it from Andy, right, from HKI. He said it. He says, if you get a guy who's got a custom bike, that dude doesn't have a budget. So what can we communicate to the dealers listening in that are selling high-end stuff, that are used to selling stuff like Focal, like your product, into that segment and cross it over?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I can tell these guys is don't be scared, especially for us in Canada. I mean, I have a little bit different view than most of the guys on here because I live in Canada and it snowed 6 inches for me last night, right? So, bike season up here is short. We don't have the rallies. We don't have Sturgis. We don't have Daytona Bike Week. We don't have those. But what we do have are enthusiasts that spend an exorbitant amount of money on a vehicle that they can drive 30% of the year. Mm-hmm. One thing when it comes to dealing with Harley Davidson is whether they're price conscious or not, nobody who owns a Harley wants second best. I'll just leave it at that.
I know that our session coming up together, we'll have Nalika on. We'll also have a retailer guest to kind of give us some testimony about that. It's going to be a really nice discussion. Looking forward to that. Justin, can't thank you enough for coming in today and sharing with us some highlights about what Focal and the Harley segment's all about.
Thank you so much. I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot of everyone.
Oh, and of course, if you're interested, you're in Canada, give Justin and his team a call over at BB Distribution, and they'll get you all set up. So thank you. Thanks a lot, Justin.
No worries. Thank you.
That was Justin Bond, my boy from BB Distribution, Focal Canada, and a very unique and high-end offering that you'd be surprised how many Harley guys would be really surprised, if not pleasantly surprised, to know that there is product in that type of caliber that is ready to install into their bike. All right, our last guest of the night, again, trying to show everybody different segments, different styles. We're going to go to a brand that's pretty hardcore, pretty involved, has some partnerships that really help them innovate and push the boundaries within the motorcycle category. Of course, we're talking about Euphoria by DB Drive. And tonight we have Susano Garza Jr. We call him Junior. He's their international sales manager.
Hey, Ben, how's it going?
Junior, thanks for staying until the end, but I had to save the best for last, man. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it.
Euphoria, I want to hype it up because such unique product, really good following, some unique partnerships that we're going to talk about tonight. But let's start out of the gate. Let's talk about new, because new is always exciting, right? Let's start with new. What are some of the new products that Euphoria has got going on in the motorcycle segment?
Well, what we got going on right now is we got a new subwoofer that everybody's using in their bags. It's very, very slim compared to our regular subwoofers. Crazy amounts of power, RMS handling. Uh, we also have our new mid basses that are also being used, 8 and 10-inch mid basses, that are perfectly set up for a lot of these bags that are being mounted on these bikes. And we also have a new processor that's an 8-channel. It's basically 6 in, 8 out, but they're all basically, it doesn't have a preset for channel 7 and 8, which most processors do. So you can basically, you don't have to have a low pass on the 7 and 8. You can use it full range all the way across if you want to.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, tomorrow we're actually doing our one-on-one. We're going to deep dive into all these things that you're going to talk about tonight, and I happen to have a little bit of insight. You're talking about those new mid basses that are getting a lot of play, right? But I noticed that within those mid basses, you kind of got two series, and one of them is kind of like a more traditional kind of material that you use for the cone, and the other one I noticed right away was carbon fiber. And you guys make a point to send that message out that it's carbon fiber. What are the differences so that the dealers can kind of understand?
Well, it's one of those give and take type of deals. Basically, when you have your coated paper, cones, they're really nice because they're really, really, really sensitive. So, they don't take a lot of power to perform. They perform very well with that low power. And of course, they're a little bit more accurate. But, people want it, of course, it's motorcycles. They want more and more and more. So what we did is we made one with a carbon fiber cone. Of course, makes it a little bit heavier. It's denser. It's stiffer. So it handles a ton more power. Now, it didn't really affect the sensitivity as much as we thought it would. And it still performs like crazy and handles a lot more power, which is what, guys and Harleys want.
You know what Harley guys are? They're thirsty, Junior. That's what they are. They're
That's
thirsty.
correct.
On that note, we're talking about thirsty. To drive these. I mean, these are efficient drivers, but they still want the power. One thing that really stood out for me when I took a look at the Euphoria lineup, the expert lineup of amplifiers, is the power spec ratings that are marked on the boxes. I mean, talk to us a little bit. These are really, really high output amplifiers.
Yes, they're very high put out amplifiers. One thing that we didn't want to do is we didn't want to sacrifice the crossover on those amps because it's nice to have a DSP, but not everybody puts a DSP inside these bikes. So most of our amps, or actually all of our amps in the expert line, will have a bandpass built in, which is a bandpass filter will let you do frequency range cutoffs. We'll get more in depth in it when we do the one-on-one, but we basically didn't want to sacrifice a crossover. So we have these amps. They have crazy power. All the ratings are RMS. So you got an amplifier that's small and will do 1,000 watts RMS.
Exactly.
No?
That's exactly what I was referring to. Such
and
a
we
tiny
don't sacrifice
package.
on the crossovers, so you're able to actually, it's useful power.
Right. Very, very nice. I mentioned before, you guys got some unique relationships, and those relationships have kind of led to pushing the envelope on your design and the type of products you come out. Of course, I'm talking about the partnership between Euphoria and Insane Asylum. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah, basically what it was is when we decided we were going to get into the motorcycle game, we said, well, let's look at the builders. Let's see who's doing it right and what they're doing. So we started looking around, and we, Scott Owens is a big name everywhere, no matter where you put them. So technically, we decided that Insane Asylum was the way to go. So we have one-on-ones with him, every week, or sometimes even twice a week, 3 times a week. And what he did is that he let us know what was missing. Those gaps that a lot of bike guys were missing, because a lot of them were starting to use car stuff in these bikes. He let us know what was missing. We added those SKUs. We perfected them. He always has stuff to test first, and he lets us know if it's good to go or not.
So he's directly involved. He's just not shooting you an email or a text. He's like directly involved in the whole process.
He always gets prototypes. He tests them for us. I mean, if you're gonna have somebody, torture test something, might as well be the guy that's, gonna torture test something.
He's gonna really torture test it. Okay. Junior, you're out on the road visiting dealers, of course. So we've caught you in the middle of that. I think you're in Florida traveling right now.
Yes, sir, in Miami.
All right, so you're in Miami, and you're in these shops. You're talking to these dealers. What kind of trends have you seen that you kind of noticed this season?
Man, what I have noticed that I had seen a lot of people putting mid bases in these motorcycles, I'm seeing a lot of people start to go into our subwoofers. The subwoofer sealing off those bags. I mean, it's crazy the amount of audio they're putting into these bikes.
Amazing, amazing.
I mean, I'm
What about
genuinely
vehicles?
impressed.
How
I'm
about
sorry?
vehicles? How about vehicles? You shared with me something about now you're starting to see other platform vehicles, not
Oh,
quite
yeah.
a motorcycle.
No. Right now, the big thing, especially in the States, I don't know how big it is up in Canada, but in the States, slingshots are the thing right now. I mean, everybody's putting sound systems. They actually have gatherings everywhere in the U.S. for slingshots, and luckily our product fits perfectly in all these slingshots. We have guys putting subwoofers. Asylum did a really really killer slingshot for us. That thing can get down.
Guys, you have to tune into our show because we're gonna talk about that slingshot. But for sure, another kind of segment within a segment, right? The slingshot
Correct.
within the bike category, and because the
Yep.
product is very similar.
Well, I mean, it's technically
yeah.
a motorcycle, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I guess so. I want to wish you good luck on your travels. Continue
Thank you.
and be safe. And thank you so much for coming in tonight to talk to us about Euphoria product for motorcycles.
Hey, thank you for having me, Ben.
Take care, Junior.
Always a pleasure.
There you have it, guys. Hopefully I did a good enough job to bring you guys the goods, the info, so you could kind of ponder. Motorcycle audio is hot. There's tons of great brands, tons of innovation, tons of new product, expansion into subcategories, like you heard Junior just say with the slingshots. So much potential, impossible to ignore. I hope that's the very least the takeaway that you'll get from this episode. I want to thank all the brands that joined us tonight. Rockford Fosgate, Focal, Euphoria, Sound Digital, and of course, Tram. I want to remind you to tune in and continue tuning in to CMA Networks starting tomorrow, April 21st, right through till Friday, April 29th for the Motorcycle Audio Sessions. It features all the premier brands in the category, all the ones that came on tonight, and a few more on that. If you want to learn more, these are deep dives. I go one-on-one, and we go get all the goodies and details that you need to know to make the right decisions. Lastly, make sure to visit our newly redesigned website, cmanetworks.com. We've got literally hundreds of videos for you to peruse and learn from. Search either by category, either by brand, or even by your favorite trainer. All our videos that you see are available to watch on demand on cmanetworks.com. That's it. We've reached the end. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is CMA Live, presented by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.
Stop it.
Yo, roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to SiriusXM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on SiriusXM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?